Hi everyone, this is Liz from the Beverly Public Library. Welcome to STEAM Scribbles, where we learn about different science, technology, engineering, and math concepts together using just pencils and paper. This week we're going to be learning about animation together. Animation is a technology you've probably seen a lot of in your life, but weren't really thinking about it when you saw it. So anytime that you've seen a cartoon or an animated movie, you were watching something that was animated. Before we get started on the scribbling, we need to get our supplies in order. And normally we just need pencils and one piece of paper. But since we're doing animation today, we need more than one piece of paper. And the reason for this is because animation takes a bunch of drawings of the same thing that look similar, but they're not exactly the same, and tricks the brain into thinking that the multiple images are one image that's just moving. So for instance, if we had a person running across a piece of paper, you might have one drawing at the very beginning where the person is on the left side of the paper, and then another drawing when they're here, and here, and here, and here. And animation takes all of those different drawings and makes it look as though it's one fluid motion. So in order for us to animate, we need to make more than one drawing, which is why we're going to need more than one piece of paper. But if you don't have a lot of paper, all you need is 2 or 3 sheets, and that's because we're going to fold them to make multiple pages. So you're going to take your paper and fold it in half like this. So it looks like this. I'll do it again so that you can get a better view. Ready? We're going to take our paper and line up the edges just like this, and then just fold it along that line. It didn't come out perfect, but that's okay. That might make it easier at the end anyway. And last time, I'm going to take my paper and fold like this. And now take all of those pieces of paper that you've got and stack them together so that on one side you've got the folds and on the other side you've got your pages. This will look kind of like a book. So here's my spine right over here, and here are my pages that I can flip through. See? Okay, so now you've got your little book, and that's what we're going to be drawing in. I'm going to set that back down. Now that we've got all our supplies in order, we've got our paper, and we're using pencils like normal. So we've got all of that together, and now we have to decide what we want to animate. So you could animate a person or an animal or even an object as long as it moves. We're going to call the thing that we choose to animate our subject. So anytime I say the word subject, I mean the thing that you are drawing that you want to move. Okay? Great. It might be a good idea to choose something that's easy for you to draw over and over, since we're going to have to draw your subject many times. Something like a stick figure, which is what I'm going to draw. You can do that too. If you want to do something more complicated, that's completely fine. This is your scribble. Just take your time doing it because you're going to have to repeat it over and over, okay? Great. You have your subject in mind? Okay, great, me too. So, now that we know what we want to draw, we need to think about the motion we want our subject to make. How are they going to be moving? If you're drawing a dog, maybe you're going to show your dog running. Or if you're drawing a ball, maybe you'll show your ball flying through the air. If you're drawing a person, is that person climbing a tree or jumping rope or hitting a ball with a baseball bat? What are they up to? My stick figure, I think, is going to be climbing some stairs. Last but not least, we're going to need a non-moving or stationary object in our picture. This helps us to realize that our subject is moving if there's something that's not moving in the picture. And a lot of the times, your subject's going to need something non-moving to interact with anyway. So for example, my stick figure is going to be climbing some stairs. Well, in order to climb the stairs, there need to be stairs to climb. So I need to draw some stairs into the picture. Does your subject require some kind of non-moving object to interact with? Thinking about some of the examples I gave earlier, maybe if you're drawing a dog that's running, it's running towards something that it wants to play with, like a toy or a bone. If you're drawing a person that's climbing a tree, there needs to be a tree to climb. If they're jumping rope, they need a rope to jump with. So think about the subject that you're drawing and think about if the motion that they are making needs to have some kind of still object. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. You can still have some kind of still object in the picture without your character or subject interacting with it. So for example, if you're having a ball fly through the air, maybe you just need to draw the ground so that we can see where the ball goes over time. After all of that preparation, we're finally ready to start scribbling. We've got our pencils at the ready, and we've got our book of papers. Remember, you have them stacked up so that on one side you have your spine, and on the other side you have your pages. And we're not even going to move the book. We're just going to start on the very first page of our book, right here. And the first thing we're going to draw in our first scribble is our stationary object. So in my case, that's the stairs. I'm going to make them wooden stairs. But in your case, remember, whatever the stationary object is, maybe it's something that your subject is interacting with. Maybe it's as simple as the ground. Just make sure to put it in. And it's not going to move in any of your scribbles, so it's going to be in the same spot every time. So there's my stairs, that's my stationary object, and now I need to draw my subject, and so do you. And your subject is not moving yet. They're just beginning to think about moving or preparing to move, or they're doing whatever it is they'd be doing right before they move. So if you are drawing a ball that's going to be flying through the air, maybe it's starting kind of lower down and it's going to travel upwards in the next couple of scribbles. If you're drawing a dog that's about to start running, maybe it's on one side of your paper, and in the next drawing it'll start running forward across the page. Or if you're drawing a person climbing the stairs, like I am, maybe they are standing right in front of the stairs, thinking about climbing. And I'm going to add a smiley face, because why wouldn't they be smiling? It's a happy time when you're in a scribble. Okay, so we've got our very first scribble done. Great work, but we've got to do a few more. So we'll turn the page and we're going to draw on the right hand side of our book only each time. So on this page, we'll once again get the same color if you're using colors like I am, and draw the exact same object. Try to draw it in the same spot that you drew it, but if you don't get it perfect, that's okay. So the way that animation works is it tricks our brains into seeing the series of images as one single image making a fluid motion. So as long as your images are really close to the same, our brains are going to want to see that fluid motion, and we'll be able to trick them into thinking it's the same picture. But if you make it very different, like if I added an extra stair, or if I made the stairs go in the opposite direction, we won't be able to trick our brains. So now I've got the stairs again, and I'm going to draw my stick figure in a very similar position, but not exactly the same because he needs to move forward. So if you need help figuring out what the motion they need to make in their first scribble is, imagine your subject moving in slow motion. If you're doing a character like I am, you can even act it out yourself. Like, if I wanted to act this out, I would go to my stairs and in slow motion start to climb the stairs and see what part of my body moved first, and that's what I'm going to draw. So for me, my stick figure's arms might be the same, but he'll raise one leg and bend it so that he can climb, but his other leg is still on the ground. And maybe for you, that motion might look different. So if we go back to the ball in the air, it might have gone slightly upward and forward on the page. Or if you are drawing someone climbing a tree instead of stairs, maybe they've just ripped the tree and they haven't gotten off the ground yet. And of course, we have to add our smiley face. It's a happy journey. Okay, scribblers, now we're gonna turn to our third page, and we're going to do the same kind of thing. So once again, draw your stationary object, same as before. So I have 3 stairs. And there we go. And just like before, you're gonna draw your subject next and continue thinking about what the next movement they need to make is based on slow motion. So my subject had his leg, you can see, up, getting ready to climb that first stair, and I think the next thing would be he's made it onto the first stair, so he's moved the second leg on. I could do it even slower than that, but we only have so many pages, so I want to make sure he makes it at least a little bit up the stairs. He might not make it all the way. There he is on the first stair. What did your subject do to move forward? Or maybe not forward. I don't know how your subject is moving. I don't know which direction, or if they're moving in any direction. But how did they move? What kind of motion did they make? If you're not sure what they should do, just keep watching me. I'm going to scribble the next 3 ones more quickly, and you can watch the video to try to figure out what kind of slower movements your subject might be making. And if you do know what to do from here on out, that's completely fine. Go ahead and get to scribbling, and we'll scribble together, and it'll be great. So go ahead and either pause the video to do your scribbles if you want to, or just watch me and let's see how this goes. Welcome back, scribblers. Hopefully by now you've finished scribbling your very own book of scribbles. So give yourself a pat on the back, because that was a lot of work that you just put into this. And if you're not done yet, that's okay. Go ahead and give the video a pause and finish up your scribbles. And be sure to give yourself a pat on the back when you finish, because it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too to do all this scribbling. Now, we're ready to see the animation magic. So, you're gonna grab your flip book like this with the spine on one side and the pages on the other, and it might help to spread out the spine a little bit to make it easier to flip, and you're gonna flip through the pages. Now, I'm not that good at flipping, so I'm going to use a little movie magic to show you how it's done. The people who make your favorite films and cartoons use editing to make the animation look even more real, because editing can make the flips happen even faster than you and I could do it. But you should be able to make your animation look pretty good just flipping through on your own. So, go ahead and try it out for yourself. And just so you know, the faster you flip, the more realistic it's going to look, because your brain isn't going to have time to recognize that there's more than one image that you're showing it. It's pretty cool. And one more fun fact about movie animation magic before we go. For a single second of your favorite cartoon or animated movie, it can take up to 30 drawings to make 1 second of that animation. That's a lot of scribbles. So the next time you're sitting and watching one of those cartoons, think about how many drawings it might take to make the entire thing. That's so much drawing, right? Well, I hope you had fun making this little animation with me today, and I would love to see what animation you made, so be sure to share your animations using the hashtag SteamScribbles on social media. And be sure to tune in next week for our next Team Scribbles, and have your pencils and paper at the ready. See you next time, Scribblers.